Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. So, the exotic class item mission known as Dual Destiny recently launched, and unexpectedly, the major NPC involved in the narrative of the quest was Savathun, the Witch Queen. In typical fashion, Savathun had a whole lot to say about the entire endeavor, but it was more focused on the actual rebellious act of us choosing to use both light and dark in synergy with one another. This is a curious avenue that she's been teasing us with before, so today I wanted to do a little further investigation on Dual Destiny, but also on what Savathun the Witch Queen might actually be up to here in the Pale Heart. Starting off though, we have to go back a little further than Dual Destiny because Savathun's been talking about this for a little while now, in particular since the start of Final Shape. If we go to the adventures Queens Part 1 and 2, we can start to see Savathun hinting at the idea that there is actually a pair of logics that have failed both her and Mara Sov, and, well, us as well, I suppose, pretty universally in the past. Take a listen to this conversation that she has with Mara at the beginning of Queens Part 2.
Mara Sov, so eager to spar with gods at the drop of a hat. Aren't you tired of losing to me?
I seem to recall your logic rebuked. Your ghost being imprisoned by the Vanguard. That tastes of anything but loss.
The sword logic was always tarnished. But your bomb logic also went down in flames. Quite spectacularly, if I do say so myself. 2 queens. Failed by ideology. We adapt or die, and it's a new age. Isn't that right, Your Majesty?
For those of you who don't know, sword logic and bomb logic are basically the same as saying light and dark. Sword logic is commonly paired with the dark, and bomb logic is commonly paired with light. Sword logic is all about simplicity and strength through a singular being. Bomb logic, on the other hand, is all about the light and also about the strength of complexity, through many individual pieces coming together to form something greater than the sum of their parts. Savathun stating to Mara that both of these logics have failed them is implying that there is another logic that she is going to try out, something that will be very important in the future. Also, she states a few things to Crow during the Queen's Part 1 adventure. There's about a midpoint section during the mission where Crow asks what the hell she's doing, and just before the final encounter, she gives us an idea that we are in fact part of a great game, and that this game is moving on to its next phase. Take a listen for yourself.
We don't have time for your games.
Oh, that's all this is, Crow. A game of moving pieces and putting shapes. But I'm looking beyond this one. Setting the pieces for the next with great anticipation.
The seemingly ominous note of what Savathun is doing can be seen again in Queen's Part 2 later on as well. We encounter a whole lot of taken ogres, and Mara encourages us to kill them quickly. Doing so empowers us with darkness, leaving us on the verge of being taken ourselves. Take a listen to this.
Do you see it yet? The end of our little game, buried between memory and material.
Between dark and light. What trinket from the past holds your attention so?
Not a trinket, a perspective. The knowledge of angles, of edges, and the points at which they end. A convincing argument from Sister Superior, you could say.
No, she couldn't have meant. Guardian, those taken. I need you to focus your efforts on destroying them and releasing their energy. As much of it as you can.
Whoa. Mara, what did you do?
Placed a finger on the scales. The darkness inside of you is surging, like standing on the threshold of being taken. You see how they see. Savathun's plan was never about hiding anything, but revelation. Look for what is out of place, and bend it back. I cannot hold it any longer.
I feel the Traveler's pain too, you know. Without me, the Witness would have swept Saul away a long time ago.
How noble of you. I am sure your intentions were pure, with no ulterior motive.
We play an unwinnable game, meant to extend on forever. And I've shown you how to change the rules time and time again, without even a thank you.
There will be a day when you've run out your usefulness, Witch. When you will have no greater scheme to protect you from our wrath. We must know what is happening here. Guardians, destroy the Taken. I require their power. Guardians, reveal what lies here. I will hold as long as I am able.
Wait. I feel light. But it's out of phase. A light fissure. But it exists in an entirely different state of matter than we can normally perceive.
But the Taken can.
Ah, you figured it out. Just in time. Here they come now.
There are fissures of light all across the Pale Heart that exist out of phase with the material world, ones brimming with potential. Now that I know how to find them, I should be able to help the Traveler.
Then we're both getting what we want. How nice when light bearers find mutually beneficial outcomes. You're welcome. And thank you for not interfering as much as you could have.
Words spoken on borrowed time. You only live because a threat more pressing overshadows you.
Oh, there's no need to flatter me. You can save your love for later when all of this comes back around.
If you're so interested in helping, call off the Lucent Brood. Help us fight the Traveler's enemies.
Guardians, always wanting more. Don't look a tithing thrall in the maw, little ghost.
So Savathûn has shown us that even here within the Traveler, if you venture into the deepest of darkness, where you are practically merging with the Ascendant Plane, you can still find the light, and that light is brimming with potential. This synergy of light and darkness is something that has fundamentally changed the very nature of the Traveler itself, and the consequences of this are, as of yet, unseen to us. But perhaps Savathûn does see. Perhaps that's why she is preparing for the next phase in the game, the next series of shapes. And that leads us to the speech that she makes at the beginning of Dual Destiny, where she says the following.
A long time ago, there were 3 sisters. A voice in the darkness put a lie in their hearts, and they've acted on it since. Just as you've been lied to. Light and dark, Witness and Traveler, always doubled, always pitted against each other in some grand game. Well, I've had enough of their games, haven't you? Let's break their rules together.
Light and dark, always pitted against each other, always twinned. Savathûn is making a clear enough set of references here, and the fact that this mission specifically requires us to make use of a dark subclass and a light subclass, as well as dark alignment and light alignment in combination, tells us exactly what we need to know. Savathûn isn't preaching loyalty to the light or dark, she is telling us to defy these rules and these loyalties that they bring about. She is instead demanding that we focus on both, and in doing so, on ourselves. A new, third way, where one doesn't worship the light or obey the dark, but instead where we serve ourselves and ignore the dogma of both sides. This path of both energies of paracausal power is one we've already been treading, of course, with the prismatic powers we gained in Final Shape, and I think Savathûn intends to tread that path as well in time, even though currently she lost access to her powers of darkness and is only able to wield the light. In the time when all things have been changing, her brood has started to focus on staking their claim to the Pale Heart of the Traveler, the place where light and dark are merging to create something new and harmonious. If you had to ask me for my simplest interpretations of all this, I think that Savathun has seen that the combination of light and dark have created the power for us to forge our path and to make our own destiny. She intends to do the same, and she intends to do so because there is another conflict on the horizon. She has seen the tales of gardeners and winnowers. If you were to ask me, I think she intends to join their ranks as a godlike being who has ascended beyond either. She is already a god of deception, but if she is to become something even more powerful, she needs to be unbound from any will but her own. I think she's going to accept the powers of both light and dark and become the master of their synergy, and I think she's doing so because she perceives a way to win the grand game that lies ahead of us, now that the witness is dead, now that the echoes have been released, now that there is something more that will one day rear its head over the horizon. Savathun is positioning herself to become a key player in all this, to make her own place, to make her own fate. I can't help but feel like she's also making a less than tacit effort for us to follow her with the promise that we can forge our own destinies as we see fit. Take a listen to the last words she says from Dual Destiny.
Well, look at you. Trusting your own instincts, thinking for yourself. I'm so proud. You and I, we're not interested in playing other people's games. Now Xivu Arath. Oh, my sister has always played by the rules. And where did that get her? Nowhere good. There's no power in blindly following the whims of capricious, self-titled gods. Except yourself.
That dialogue implies that the power of gods is at our fingertips, and that soon we can indeed take hold of it and make it our own. We need only take the chance and the moment to chart our own course. Savathun's future is an enigma to us, but I think that she is already making moves. She already perceives what will happen next, and she is already enacting her plan for it. But I have no doubt that we'll be looking at more of her story as the future unfolds within the third episode after the final shape, known as Heresy. This is meant to be an upending of the Hive Pantheon, and we still don't know exactly what we're going to see in that story, but one of them may well be a further look into Savathun's story and her plan for the future. But in order to truly understand it all, we need to wait and see what happens when we get there. As for the lore of the exotic class items, I'll see about covering those at a separate date, but I don't think there's necessarily anything that immediately sparks of relevance here. I initially thought that each of these was a lore entry where a warlock, titan, and hunter, who are unknown to us, were conversing with each of the Hive gods. The hunter cloak seemed as though it might have been a hunter conversing with the soul of the navigator Oryx. The warlock bond looked as though it might be them conversing with Savathun, the witch queen. And the Titan one is what threw me aside, and it makes me wonder if it is in fact all of the Guardians talking to the Traveler instead. Each of them just with their own different interpretations. I was looking out for the hints that they were talking to the war god Xivu Arath, and I just don't think that's what it leads me to with the Titan one. However, that's just an interpretation, and even with that interpretation in mind, I think we still need to give each of those class items a deeper examination. So, with that being said, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, and leave your own thoughts down below in the comments section. It can be on the class item lore if you want to go ahead and do a little reading and thought of that for yourself, or it can be on what you think Savathun's plan is. Regardless of whatever you may have in mind, I appreciate the comments you guys are leaving, and I appreciate you guys leaving so much interaction with the content lately. Also, of course, if you want more Destiny lore and content, go ahead and hit subscribe and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. Hopefully, I will have raid lore for all of you guys very soon, but that's all dependent on me getting through things and getting a team. I'm also going to try and make things ready for Grandmaster Excision on Tuesday, but no promises on that one immediately either. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that the video has been enjoyable. If it has, know that your viewership as always has been quite enough for me, and that in the meantime, my name is Byf. Rhodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.